I would expect a positive start from England. I really would. You know, it's ingrained in me. I'm of the generation to think that something is going to go wrong. It's just the way we are with England.
You're becoming Scottish. What's happening here?
Yeah, well, I know, but I'm very uncomfortable with this favourites tag that's going around because they haven't earned it. England have not earned it.
They have earned it. Stop it.
They've not earned it.
Listen. Well, because you think France are better. France probably are better, Mark. But first of all, I'm gonna correct me if I'm wrong because I know you're betting there, Mark. But
yeah.
The reason England are favorites doesn't have to do with the fact that bookies
money.
It's money, right?
It's volume of money
in England, and bookies just want money to be the same on both sides, so they make the England odds shorter. But
guess what, Gab? Over here in Germany, England aren't favorites.
Well,
Germany are favorites, or one of the favorites. It's basically volume of cash. I think France, you get better odds for England in Germany than you will back home because the bookies don't want any liabilities because you get your 50 pence each way Grand National, grannies and granddads doing it.
You're right. But you couldn't give England away the last few tournaments. You know, you would be seeing all of these bookmaker offers of kind of like, here's a couple of extra points here and there, you know, on the week before the start of the tournament, whatever, you know, pile onto England, you know, show some patriotism, all of this. I can tell you, having been with England since they landed here and having done the 2 warm-up games, I've basically been with England since the start of the month. And the questions they get from foreign journalists as well as the English journalists are, you are the favourites for this tournament. Can you handle the pressure of that? And there's variations on that theme. Okay, so they are seen. I don't agree with it, but that seems to be the consensus that they are the favourites.
You have to step up. If England aren't first favourites, if we think France is better, I agree with you. France are better. Then they're second favourites, right? It's not like it's not like the middle of the pack. So listen, I don't know getting bent out of shape over the fact that we haven't earned the right to be second favourites. You've been a second in the last Euros. You lost a very close game to the team that lost the World Cup final on penalties. The World Cup before that, you reached the semifinals. So put these things together, and you've earned this spot. You have really.
What you're describing is right, and there is a final step to make. There is a final step to make, and the assumption from favoritism is that they will make it, and I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that automatically they will make it. They may well do so, and obviously I hope that is the case. But to just anticipate that they are going to do it, and it's based on the individual quality of England's attacking players, not on the collective, not on the fact that they don't have a good centre-back partnership, not on the fact that they are relying solely on Declan Rice to anchor that midfield. And actually, they do get done on transition quite a lot by teams that are quite good on the counter-attack. All of those things notwithstanding, they are expected to just make that final step and win the Euros. And I'm just saying, I don't think it's a fait accompli.
You know, I think your words kind of betray the actual feeling here, right? Because we're previewing England against Serbia, and all we're talking about is, England shouldn't really be second favorites because they haven't earned it or whatever else. Like, I agree with you, right? So they're on going to be in the same half of the draw as France. So if they both win their groups, one of those two isn't getting to the final, right? That's just the way the tournament is set up. I do wonder a little bit, having like you seen, remember the battle days with England and sort of the failures pre-Southgate. Shouldn't we be talking about Serbia more? Or is it that just, even if, they don't win against Serbia, it's okay because the rest of the groups the rest of the group is made up of Muppets, and so we'll still get through. So let's have this big debate about whether they're favorites or second favorites or third favorites, and can they live up to it?
You're right. You're right. England had a big issue with the opening tournament games pre-Southgate. It was a major problem, and it was something that they talked about a lot. And I know that they did a lot of work on it actually with the psychologist Steve Peters, when they were talking about, look, you need to try and hit the ground running in these tournaments. That's why I made the point earlier that in the 3 previous Southgate tournaments, they have won the first game. And I think in Tunisia in 2018, they won it pretty much in the last minute. They weren't great. but it just sets the tone for the tournament. You're right. We should be talking to Serbia more. It's not an easy game, but I guess the caveat or the sort of counterpoint to that is, well, this expanded format means that, third place teams can get through. It doesn't really have the jeopardy that it used to. So you sort of think they'll leave it. I mean, I can't see England losing tomorrow. I think they will win tomorrow. I'm just not sort of convinced it's going to be the sort of, sweeping all before them that has been anticipated by many people who clearly aren't, wearing the scars on their heart like I am.
I want to wrap this up shortly, but I as someone with no skin in the game here, but as someone that grew up in the United Kingdom and we got all the English commentary and whatever, and we got the English newspapers, 86, especially Italia 1990, don't you dare come home without this trophy. It's a bit like Scotland in that stupid 1978 World Cup when we'd won it prior to even going there. Ali's Tartan Army. But then with England and Mexico and in Italy as well, France 98, with the media, this is just a perception of mine. It might be totally wrong. It was a case of they built them up so much. What you are saying is totally the opposite of that. So what has happened when you've got Harry Kane, who's top scorer in Europe, and now you're suddenly saying, oh, I'm a bit worried, I don't like being favourites and Serbia. There's got to be a happy medium here. There's got to be a middle ground, is there not?
Well, I can't and would never try and speak for the whole of the English media, but what I would say is I think that narrative is linked inextricably to Gareth Southgate. He has managed now more games for England than Bobby Robson. I think it's only Walter Winterbottom and Alf Ramsey are ahead of him. This is his fourth tournament. The cycle, and let's not forget the work that he's done. He has done a phenomenal job, I think, in redefining what it means to play for England. These players want to be here. That wasn't always the case pre-2016 when he took charge, and they've gone on a fantastic journey. They've won penalty shootouts, they've won knockout games, they've really broken down. They beat Germany in the last Euros. That was a massive thing for England to beat a big team. All right, again at Wembley, but they still did that in a knockout game. They've knocked down these hurdles time after time after time. But I think the reason why there's this pressure, aside from, and it's certainly a component part, as we've talked about already, the individual development of Bellingham, of Kane, of Foden, of Saka, all these players, but also it's around Gareth Southgate, because when he took charge, England did not have a group of players that were capable or believed or even, as I say, wanted to really play for England and really commit themselves wholeheartedly and open themselves up to the potential pain of not succeeding with England. What he's got now is a buy-in and a group of players that are good enough to actually go and win it. And the question really is, have they outgrown the manager? Is this manager now somebody who can take this group and the quality that they have and take that final step? Or is he, in fact, having taken them so far, is he the one that's holding them back? And that's, I think, why you're seeing a lot of this narrative around the England team about, well, the only thing they can do from here is win it, because that's the only thing that Southgate can do from here is win it if he's going to stay on to 2026.
Prediction time. Gab, let's start with you. England against Serbia.
I think it's going to be nervy. I think I have all the reservations about Southgate, and also all the praise that a lot of people have for many of the same reasons that James cited. But I don't think Serbia and it's not their fault. They're not a very well-balanced team. And while a lot of those names are familiar, some of them aren't coming off great seasons. So for that reason, I'm going to say I think England are going to win 2-0, 2-1, something like that. But again, it could be something where they don't play particularly well, and it's a penalty, Foden falling over in the box, some screw up somewhere else.
Okay, 16 goals so far in this tournament in the 4 games. It's not going to be 0-0, is it, James? England going to win?
6-0 England. No, no, I'm joking. No, I look. England have kept 2 clean sheets in the last 7 games. Not an entirely relevant statistic given it's warm-up games and friendlies and whatever. I don't see them keeping a clean sheet against Serbia, but I think I think their firepower will be enough to get them over the line. I'm going to say 3-1 England.